Hey guys, welcome back to A Fistful of Dice. My name is Matt, and we are going to continue Hero Workshop, our series about creating characters for 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons. In the last few episodes, we have picked a race, a class, and a background, and also rolled ability scores for our character here, Damp Foyer, the Gnomish Artificer. Building him up as a wizard. Eventually I'm going to multi-class him, which we're going to cover in a future episode. And I went ahead and picked the guild artisan background, and he is a rock gnome for his race. So this episode is going to be about equipment, buying your gear. And I do want to make a quick clarification for something I said in a previous episode. I believe it was for the background episode. I mentioned that you would get some items with your background, and actually you only get those items if you're doing the starting equipment option. So when you buy equipment, there's two options. There's starting equipment or buy your own. The starting equipment is the stuff that's listed under your class and your background, and you get those things in lieu of getting gold and buying your stuff yourself. And that's just a really easy, quick way to get your starting gear without having to be too finicky with buying equipment. But so I do apologize for that. That was a mistake on my part, that I was not aware of, that it includes your class and your background and not just your class items. So, but yeah, in this episode, we're going to go ahead and roll our gold. And if you're looking for the equipment section, it's actually Chapter 5 in the Player's Handbook. And it's on page 143. So, of the Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition Player's Handbook. I've had a couple people ask me if they can use 3rd or 4th edition to do this. This series is specifically about 5th edition. Just so you're aware, the basic rules for 5th edition are free online, so it's free to try out and check out the rules. So in Chapter 5, on page 143 here, there's a table that has the starting wealth by class. And this is just a way for you to roll how much gold you're going to have. If your DM has a specific amount of gold that you're going to start with, like everyone starts with 100 gold, or everyone starts with 50 gold, or whatever, then obviously use that. But if you're just creating a character you want to try out, then roll for this. So I am a wizard. Damp is a wizard, so I look on the wizard thing here on the table, and wizards get 4d4 times 10 gold pieces. So I've got my 4d4s here. I'm going to go ahead and roll them. Oh, nice. I got 8, 10, 12. So I have, and then times that by 10, because the table says to. That gives me 120 gold. So I'm going to come over here to my character sheet under GP, and I'm going to put 120. So the currency in Dungeons & Dragons, you have your copper pieces. These are like common folk money. This is the money that you buy food with, that you buy drinks with. This is typically what farmers and common people are going to be paid. This is the stuff that you see every day. This is, dollar bills, $10 bills, stuff like that. That's what a copper piece is. A silver piece is a little bit higher than that. Silver piece, a peasant will be lucky to see a few silver pieces in their lifetime. This is, a silver piece is 10 copper pieces. This is pretty good money here. Electrum. The Electrum piece is kind of weird. It's a type of currency in Dungeons & Dragons that isn't actually in circulation anymore. Why they included it in the basic currency is kind of weird to me. I personally don't use Electrum, and I don't know many DMs who do. It's fun to kind of throw it in there as like you also find a piece of Electrum, so then you can kind of use that as a bartering tool. But to have it be a standard currency, it'd be like finding a Roman coin and you trying to buy a pop at the convenience store with it. It's just kind of weird that it's there. And then you have gold pieces. This is the real hard money here. This is a gold piece will feed a family for a day. This is a $100 bill. It's good money, and most peasants and lowborn people will probably never see gold in their life. That's how pricey and expensive and high end this stuff is. And then you have platinum pieces, which is like your Bill Gates. If you've got a platinum piece, that means you've made it. Now, a gold piece is only 10 silver pieces. A silver piece is only 10 copper pieces. So, is gold really that much? In the grand scheme of things, it's not that much money. It's 100 copper. But to have a gold piece means that you have 100 copper. You know what I mean? It's the principle of the thing, not necessarily the actual value of it. But for most things that you're going to buy in Dungeons & Dragons, and most rewards that you're going to be getting, most treasure that you're going to be finding, it's going to be in gold pieces. It's the easiest method of currency, and pretty much all weapons and armor and bigger pieces of equipment are going to be in gold pieces, okay? So that's why you initially start out with a bunch of gold like this. And it doesn't necessarily mean that your character has 120 gold in their pocket. That is their starting wealth, as well as the total wealth of all the property they own. So if your character owns a family heirloom sword, that's part of that 120 gold. It doesn't mean that your character literally has 120 gold and they're going to the shop before going out adventuring and buying 120 gold worth of stuff. It just means that the gold you have in your pocket and the items you have on your person, the armor you're wearing, the clothes you're wearing, the instrument on your back, that's the total worth of all of those things, okay? All right. So we're going to go ahead and just go through what buying equipment entails, okay? So I'm playing a wizard. The first thing that comes up when you start turning the pages here, so on page 145, is you see armor. Normally, a wizard would not be wearing armor. You cannot cast in armor that you are not proficient in. So a wizard has no armor proficiencies, therefore they cannot cast spells in armor they are not proficient in. If you're playing a mountain dwarf, they automatically get heavy armor proficiency, which means that yes, if you make a mountain dwarf wizard, you can cast spells in heavy armor. It's pretty badass. I am planning on making multi-classing Damph as a rogue. So I'm actually going to buy some armor here, both to explain to you how that works and also to set him up so that later on he can put that armor on and cast spells in it, okay? So I'm looking at the armor here on page 145. Armor is one of the more expensive things you're going to buy. For the most part, it's going to be your priciest initial expenditure when you're buying equipment here. So you've got light armor, medium armor, and heavy armor. Rogues are proficient in light armor. So I know when Damph multi-classes as rogue, he's going to get that light armor proficiency. But I can also think about the fact that I might take a feat at level 4, which will give me medium or heavy armor proficiency if I wanted to. So for now, I think I'm going to get him some studded leather armor. So I'm going to go ahead here and in the equipment, I'm going to put studded leather armor. And that costs 45 gold. I'm going to go ahead and pull up Notepad here so I can keep track of that. So 45 gold. So I'm putting that in there. I'm going to keep track of that stuff here off to the side. Okay, so I got my studded leather. Now I'm going to keep turning the page, and eventually you come to weapons on page 149 of the Player's Handbook. And the weapons list is pretty long, and there's lots of different properties and things on all of these weapons. All of the properties on these weapons are all explained on these pages. So if you're looking at the sickle, and you see that the sickle has the light property, and you're like, well, what does that mean? And you go down and you see light. A light weapon is small and easy to handle, making it ideal for use when fighting with 2 weapons. And then it says, see the 2-weapon fighting rules in Chapter 9, so that you can turn to Chapter 9 and see, oh, okay, I can add my damage bonus if I'm using this when I'm 2-weapon fighting. Or you look at a crossbow, and you see that the crossbow is loading, and you look at loading, and it says you can only fire 1 shot from this a turn because you have to sit there and crank it and reload it. So it's all explained here. There's nothing archaic about this. All of these weapon properties are explained in the chapter. So, but Damph is only proficient right now in daggers, darts, slings, quarterstaffs, and light crossbows because he is a wizard. So I am most definitely going to hook him up with a light crossbow here. So the light crossbow is a simple ranged weapon, and it costs 25 gold. So we're going to go ahead and add that here, light crossbow. And on the notepad over here, I'm going to add 25. So that brings us to a total of 70 gold right now. So we've got 50 gold left. And I want him to have a melee weapon of some kind. So I think I'm going to give him, for now, I'm going to give him a dagger, which only costs 2 gold. Okay, so that brings us to a total of 72 gold spent. And I'm going to put dagger in here. And just so he has it... no, I think that's good. I think he's going to be firing off spells. He's going to have his light crossbow. He's going to have his dagger. And when I multi-class, I'm going to eventually give him some hammers, which is his main weapon. So, but for now, I think that's good for weapons, okay? So we're going to continue turning the page, and on the very next page, on page 150, there is the adventuring gear, all the stuff that you can buy, and there's a lot of it, lots of different things. There's also, very handy, on page 151, there are equipment packs, which give you basic adventuring gear in a pack, in a bundle, and it calculates how much money that would be to buy all of that stuff. And it's a really just simple way, so you don't have to sit there and go through each of these items and pick from them. So what I usually do when I'm buying my equipment is I pick one of the packs, I get one of these packs, and then I go over to the adventuring gear, and I might grab a few other things that I want for my character. So I'm going to go ahead and edit the video here. I'm going to go through and add some other items and then explain to you what I picked and why I picked them. So yeah, I will be right back. Okay, guys, I'm back. So I went through and picked all of my stuff. I went ahead and picked a Dungeoneer's pack, which gave me a backpack, a crowbar, a hammer, pitons, which are like climbing spikes, torches, tinderbox, rations, water skin, and 50 feet of hempen rope. I also went ahead and bought an Arcane Focus, an orb, because Damp casts spells with his spell gauntlets. He has these gauntlets on that he uses to cast spells, and I wanted to have something that could mechanically represent his ability to do that. I didn't want to just say that he can do that. So I went ahead and got an Arcane Focus, which was an orb, which cost me 20 gold, and it's just going to sort of represent the magical gems that he has in his spell gauntlets. I also bought him a set of common clothes, because he's not going to be running around in his armor, and I bought him a set of Tinker's tools. Now, I had a bit of a dilemma, because I realized that I needed to buy those Tinker tools in order for him to be able to make his little contraptions from being a rock gnome and be able to do his craft. He's an artisan, he's a tinker. So I went ahead and ditched the studded leather armor that I bought before, basically just thinking, you know, I'm not going to be multi-classing anytime super soon, so I don't want to be buying stuff that I'm going to use, you know, 3 or 4 levels down the line when I'm going to be getting a lot of that stuff anyway and getting a lot more gold. So I stuck with stuff that he's going to be using here and now, which is, you know, a good rule of thumb to have. So, and what I ended up spending was 110 gold total. So that leaves me with 10 gold to grow with. That's a good amount of gold so that I can you know, stay at inns, get rations, get any sort of little, like, meager supplies I might need. So that hooks me up pretty good with some weapons, with some usable adventuring items, and also some cool flavor items like my Arcane Focus and my Tinker Tools. So, yeah. So that's my how you go through and buy your equipment. In the next episode, we're going to wrap up level 1. We're going to go through and we're going to fill out all of the rest of the numbers on our sheet, fill out our attacks, and pick our spells. And from there, we're going to look into leveling up. We're going to look into multi-classing, and we're going to look at feats. So I hope you guys will stick around and get some more use out of these Hero Workshop episodes. So anyway, guys, that's going to be it for me. Take care, and happy gaming all.